Blog Talk Radio.
If this love is over, then why can't I get over the pain that took me under and keep on hanging over me? If this love is over, then why can't I get over the pain that took me under and keep on hanging over me? Last night, to my surprise, the tears came falling down. Memories of what used to be, all of the good and bad times. I keep on wondering what would make you leave, but nothing really made you stay. Looking back, our love was make-believe, was so real when I felt the pain. If this love is over, then why can't I get over the pain that took me under and keep on hanging over me? If this love is over, then why can't I get over the pain that took me under and keep on hanging over me? Time could never heal all of the hurt you did to me. So why do I want you to come back to me? Come back to me. I keep on wondering what would make you leave, but nothing really made you stay. Looking back, our love was make-believe, was so real when I felt the pain. If this love is over, then why can't I get over the pain that took me under and keep on hanging over me? If this love is over, then why can't I get over the pain that took me under and keep on hanging over me? If this love is over, then why can't I get over the pain that took me under and keep on hanging over me? If this love is over, then why can't I get over the pain that took me under and keep on hanging over me?
What's going on? You have tuned in to another episode of On the Move Unscripted Ladies Roundtable Discussion. Y'all know how we do it. Every week we come here 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on blogtalkradio.com/Patricia Goins. We go live, and then of course we rebroadcast on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Podbean. We got a whole list of places. So anyway, I got to find out how my girls have been doing this week. We got to start off with that. So how are my girls doing this week? What's going on? What's cracking
Amazing.
Hey,
Your girl
y'all.
Kim is amazing.
You know what? I'll be looking forward to this every week. Like every week. Last week was the Bomb Diggity. Although they tried to play me last week. They said I was, I don't know. They said I was on my tips or something like that. I don't feel like that's what I was doing. But, hey, I think I said the same thing about the chick the week before, so it's all good.
You try to balance it out, huh?
That's it, basically. So, we got to start off with how y'all week been. So, whose voice did I hear first? Well, let me go by who called in first. That's easier. Kim, you first. So, how has your week been?
Girl, listen, everything is the bomb. So, last week it wasn't too good for me because of the ascension of my friend. But where there's an ascension, there's another life given or some new life given as well. So I'm about to be a G-Ma again, so I'm happy about that.
Congratulations.
Finally, thank you. I finally got the keys to my apartment that I'm in right now. Yes.
God is good, girl.
Yes, I'm so happy about it. It's been a long journey. It has been a long time. And people don't know, what your struggle is. They just look at you and figure you got everything going on because you don't look like what you've been through, right?
Right.
And they don't understand, what you have to continue in. I was telling somebody the other day, I said, you have to remain spiritually consistent no matter what's going on in your circumstance, no matter what it looks like. Your spirit got to remain the same throughout everything, no matter what. And when you're in that vibration, when you're in that energy, what you need and what you want, you get that. But everything's still based on divine timing. So I did what I was supposed to do, apparently. I got blessed with it, and I'm just elated right now. Running around here, I can be butt naked. Won't nobody say nothing.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Oh, that is awesome. Okay, so that means congratulations. We never did a housewarming party for Misty, so we got to one day do Misty's housewarming party. Then we got to do your housewarming party. We got housewarming parties rolling around over here.
Right. Indeed.
Right.
Indeed.
Amen.
So
yes,
indeed. That would be so.
Well, I'm glad you had a wonderful week. That was a praise report. That's how I call that. Call that a praise report. So thank you for that praise report, Kim. All right, so the next one is Misty. What's going on, Misty? How has your week been?
My week has been going okay. I can't complain. There's been nothing but uprising, mainly in my spirit. I've been digging a little bit deeper into the spiritual realm, so I feel real good about that, despite the two funerals that are coming up on Saturday. But all is still well. I can't complain. I've been doing okay. And I'm still here, so I definitely can't complain about that. Everything is well with me. I've been doing okay. My week went great.
Amen to that. No bad news is good news. That's how I see it. No bad news.
Amen.
Taking time to reflect on your inner man, ain't nothing wrong with that. That's always good. Always. All right, that's what's up. I think we also have, let's see, I think Dr. A. Marie was the next person that I see on the list. What's going on, Dr. A. Marie?
What's up? I'm good. I'm here. Life is good. My week has been good. It gets better all the time. I haven't, no problems here. I have bad moments, but not bad days, so it's all good.
I know
I'm busy as ever. Busy as ever.
Yeah, you're modeling. Tell everybody about your modeling contest or the modeling thing you're doing.
Oh, my national modeling competition. So I am an official contestant, if you will, an official model for the competition that's coming up in November 18th. So I am embarking on this journey. I'm in the over 40 modeling category. And we will go to Destin, Florida for a couple days and battle it out. It's almost it's 100 people in each category. There are 5 categories. So We first compete within our category for the top 10 spots, and then we compete with the other categories. So we narrow it down essentially from 500 to the top 5. So, yes. And then the top 5 go at it for the crown. So I plan on bringing that crown back to North Carolina.
I know. Bring it on back.
I'm working hard for that. I got Harley Davidson. They are one of my sponsors. So I'm happy. I had a photo shoot with them today. I'm infusing domestic, because it's Domestic Violence Month, and I'm a domestic violence survivor. So I'm infusing that with my Harley Davidson stuff and with my modeling stuff. So my journey is dedicated to survivors of domestic violence. So, yeah.
Amen.
So I'm excited.
Amen, and congratulations.
You don't let anybody, silence you.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Okay. Well, I am glad that you have a good week, and that, you know, in spite of the low days, you got something really positive that you're doing, you know what I'm saying, for a good cause or whatever. So that's the foundation. Okay. All right. So let's slide on down here to Deshaun. What's going on, Deshaun?
Hey, ladies. I am good. I'm good. I'm again just working on the our upcoming event, and all is well. All is well. No complaints. I'm just busy.
Have you been getting a lot more registration?
Well, our registration numbers are most definitely not where they generally are, and I think moving on, because it's virtual, you know, but we're getting people, but the numbers aren't where they normally are. So we generally have about 230, 250 women in the building. But again, you know, it's just right now we are getting ticket sales, but I'm trusting God, because we got a number. We've already put out a number that's going to be on that virtual call. So not on the virtual call, but it's going to be attending the virtual event. So we still have time, but just working, 90% of my time is just been working with the event, and it's been a wonderful journey. So I have no complaints. The only little complaint I have is my back is still hurting a little bit. But other than that, all is well.
Amen.
Wait a minute. I got to give God some glory. Right now.
Amen.
I took a test. A medical test. Well, I won't say a test. It's just a general routine. And actually, when I was in Atlanta, I got a call, and not from my doctor, but one of the medical assistants had said some very alarming words to me, and then she couldn't explain it. So then I'm crying in Atlanta going, where's my doctor? I want to know. You know what? All is well, and God is good, and he's faithful, and I just want to take a moment to give him the glory, and that I continue to move and be in a position that will allow me not only to be pleasing to him, but to there's still work to do in the community. So I just want to give God some glory, because I ain't done anything perfect, or, it's just that I'm giving him glory because he's faithful and he's good, and I just love him.
Amen.
Amen. I cannot talk about work without, expressing that, because this week I was relieved. I was like, thank you, Jesus.
Amen. Won't he do it?
Won't he do it?
Yes.
Kimberly, won't he do it?
My week has been
Patricia,
great as well.
Won't he do it, Misty?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
My
Yes,
week
he
has been
will.
really good. I've been working on for a long time. Everybody know I've been an author for a long time, and I've always had to go to the outside companies to have my book published, or whatever. And so that has limited me from being able to really offer autograph books and stuff like that. But now I'm starting a print company. I'm still in the works. I'm still working on it. But praise God, I've got some of the equipment that I need, and I'll be able to print my own books. I am so freaking excited about that. And once I learn how to print my own books, then I'll be able to print other authors' books for a much better rate than what they're getting, and so that they can have books, to sell to the websites or whatever. And then also some other printing things. So it's been a big project. I've actually been working on it for 7 years, and I'm actually getting to the point where I'm actually about to really, really do it this time, and I'm really excited. Praise God. That's a praise report for me because I've been working on it for a long time. Yeah. So,
look at God.
Doing my thing. Yes. I'm super, super excited. It looks like we already have a guest that's called in, so I definitely want to find out how their week is going, even though we don't know who they are. So
come on in the room.
Your number starts with 424. Hello? Your number starts with 424.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what are you going on? Hold on, let me hear that voice. Is that the voice from way across the way that be getting mad when I mute him? Is that voice? What voice? Is that?
You know it.
You know it. Have on the line.
What's your name?
Nick, what's going on, y'all? Hello, ladies.
What's your name again?
Nick.
That's that love.
What's your name again?
Nick.
What's his name? Nick. How your week been, Nick?
My week's been crazy, but it's cool. Everything's good.
You say your week been crazy?
Oh, yeah, it's been real crazy, but it's all good.
Oh, so you
I'm
must
just
have woke
chilling
up
out.
this morning. You was ready to argue, so you figured you'd call in? Is that you only call in when you're ready for a good argument?
Not really. It's all you gotta understand. I'm just chilling out, cool. I'm going to see what's on the ladies' mind tonight. What's going on?
So tonight we all decided because it's Domestic Violence Month, we all wanted to talk about domestic violence. And so because we have so many people on the line, everybody, if you could please mute your phone except for when you're about to talk, just so that I don't have to mute everybody. Because, y'all be getting mad at me when I be muting y'all, and I don't want to mute y'all because I want y'all to be able to say what y'all want to say when y'all want to say it. So just mute your phone if you're not talking. But so this week we decided, because it's Domestic Violence Month, that we wanted to talk about domestic violence. And that's something that's dear to my heart because, I wrote books that deal with domestic violence. And a lot of people, when they hear the term domestic violence, they only think about the relationship between a man and a woman. That's the first thing that pops in their head, But we know that domestic violence is more than just what happens between a man and a woman. Domestic violence is what happens within the home, within the family unit. So it could be something that deals with also, two same-sex people, or a mother-daughter relationship, or anything that deals with the family dynamic. So this is Domestic Violence Month. We thought we'd talk about that. And since Kim, you were the one who actually, I think Kim, was it Kim? Who was it who suggested we talk about domestic violence? Is that Kim?
Yeah, that and breast cancer awareness, both of those.
Huh?
It was that and Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's both of those months. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month and Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So I brought up both of those.
So how about we start off talking about, because I know we talked some about breast cancer last time that when we were talking with Sean. So let's focus on the domestic violence portion of this month. And how do you want to start it off? Because I think you suggested it.
I think DJ had some stats, I think.
Yes.
Okay, so DJ,
I actually am on, with some credible sources, and the time came around really quickly. So I just want to say one thing. It's for October being breast cancer and domestic violence. At the table wrote out our organization did our first launch last year, and Patricia, you were a part of it, and Kim as well.
That was awesome.
We didn't do it. Yeah, we didn't do it this year because of the COVID-19, and we're doing our breast cancer. We're doing our women's benefit for women cancer survivors. So it really is something. It's one of our initiatives, our outreach initiatives, and I do not have any stats for this year. So that was the goal, and I did not get them. But it is something that's true and dear to my heart. I know women and people that are, women and men that are affected by domestic violence. So that's my piece in it. If I can have time, I'll look at some stats, and I don't know if there's someone else on the line too that is.
I know that.
I'm sorry, I didn't get to hear everything, but who wanted to talk about it as well? Who wanted to talk about the domestic violence as well?
I think Kim. I thought it was Kim that had brought it up, but it's cool because I think all of us at some point in our lives have had some experience with domestic violence. You know what I'm saying? In one way or another. I know that with meeting Kim, what came out that a lot of people don't talk about is the domestic violence that men go through, like men being the victim. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Versus, we concentrate a lot on the women. You know what I'm saying? And we know women are being, are definitely being dealing with abuse or whatever, and the children that are affected by that. But what about the men? You know what I'm saying? What about the men who are dealing with a woman who is constantly putting her hands on him, and he's not trying to, fight back because they know once a man fights back, he automatically going to jail, or maybe he was brought up you don't hit women, or whatever the situation is. So he's not reacting when he gets hit in the middle of the night with a frying pan. Like, what about the men? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I started to really understand.
Why he still there? Why that man still there?
Can we talk about some of the forms of domestic violence?
You're right. If a man chooses to stay there and get hit in the head all day, that's what's up.
Well, maybe the situation is maybe it got something to do with housing. Maybe it got something to do with money. Maybe, I'm saying, that's the only place he has to stay. Maybe he can't stay nowhere else. The same thing that would affect a woman may affect a man too, as to why he doesn't leave. Maybe the kids. Maybe you don't want to leave the kids. People have different reasons for why they stay in abusive relationships. And I don't think there's a lot of shelters for men to go to like it is for women.
And the very reason why don't get the help that they need to get.
One at a time so everybody can talk.
The very reason men don't go get the help that they need to get, and a lot of them decide to commit suicide, is for the very comment that we just got from a man on the phone. Everybody is not the same. Everybody is not wired the same. Everybody doesn't have the same upbringing. And so it doesn't make you any less of a man that you stay and tolerate violence.
Understood. But may I ask, please, just one question?
Sure. What's the question?
This is my question. We put so many things on the table at one time. Never no solution. Never no resolve. Domestic violence with men, I got you. Okay. I know men who've been through that. Shit, I've been through that. I won't say I've been abused because it happened a couple of times, but when do we take one issue and deal with that? It ain't always, we can't always include everybody at one time. Men are definitely it's disproportionate. Right now, it's about the women. Right now, it is about the women. And nobody takes up for y'all. Y'all always taking up for us. Please, as a man, I'm asking, leave that shit alone for a minute. We got to focus on y'all first to be better for y'all and for y'all to be good. We can't deal with this at all the time. Y'all always worrying about us, and we don't give a damn about y'all. Seriously, I mean, as a whole. Not individually, but as a whole. We've been doing this shit to y'all for I don't know how long, and now all of a sudden, y'all worrying about us? Listen,
What's
sometimes
the question? I'm still in the question.
Why do women always take the issue and make it include the men too? We could fix this shit. A lot of this shit to be fixed if we just be on one accord. If we just treat y'all a little bit different. Be held accountable for our shit. A lot of us going through shit we going through because we didn't come for our shit, and that ain't about not being white. That's
the issues that affect you all. That makes no sense. We can't be on one accord and ignore the issues that affect our men. We need to work together. That's the problem.
True, but the men, but honey, I agree with you. But the men don't ever come work with y'all. So that ain't gonna happen until we forced to. I agree with you with that. But until we are held accountable to do so, we ain't never coming to the table. How many invitations we get sitting at the table, dinner cooked and everything, and we don't show up?
Yeah.
We never come to y'all call. That shit got to change first. We are taught we can run. We are taught we can lie our way out of shit. We taught we ain't got to deal with our shit until we 65. And y'all got to deal with your shit every day. So we choose to run. That got to change first.
When do you sit back and think, I need to support my brother and not go on with the shit about how they should be instead of addressing the issue of what is and how they are? Not everybody is raised, obviously, with the mentality that you have. Not all your brothers are. So when do you start talking to them and addressing the issues that they have as a brother? When do you do that? Well,
I do it all the time. And you want to know what the biggest?
How can you put down the very guys, the very brothers that you say you go to bat for? None of this is making sense to me.
Wait a minute. Okay, let me help it make sense. Wait. Let me help it make sense. I'm not putting them down. Truth is truth. If that's their truth, however it is, it is. We talk all the time, and they got the craziest. And just because I got a brother, forget just my homie, I got a brother I love dearly. Will lay my life down for him. But I'm not going to condone your bullshit. That's the problem. You know better. And I'm going to tell you, we give all these excuses. We know better. We know better on a lot of things that we choose not to do better in. We sneaking and doing. So we only side when we get caught. I'm not talking down on them. I'm not co-signing their shit. And that's the problem. One man say something and everybody jump and clap because it sounds good. It's still no less bullshit. It's still foolishness, bro. Step your game up. That's not me looking down on that man. I'm not going along with your shit. If I hate the destruction of the black family, if I hate the destruction of what's going on with these children, these black single homes, just because you my brother do not mean I'm going to go co-sign your shit and don't mean I'm going to call you out on your shit. So what I'm telling you, yes, I'm not talking down on them. That shit makes no sense. We will, a black man, and I speak to him all the time, we will take it out whenever we can. That's not talking down on them. That's being real with them. We do it all the time. How many examples do you have?
Can I jump in real quick and just say, a lot of men, in my opinion, this is what I'm thinking. A lot of men, y'all carry that chip on your shoulder that I'm tough. I gotta be tough. I can't let anybody see me cry. I can't let nobody see me down. I think a lot of men are carrying or holding or harboring pain from their past, and they're not talking about it. They're not talking to people about it. They're not going counseling about it. They're not. But they're taking it out on the woman or the person that's closest to them. Why is it, like, for instance, when we do shows about molestation, we know that women are not the only ones who've been molested. Why is it that men never call in? Why do they never talk about it? Why is it hard for y'all to talk about your abuse? How many books? You got so many books of women who are talking about what we went through as kids. How come there's not that many of men? Why do men not want to talk about the pain? I think that's half the problem is they don't want to talk about it. They want to act like it didn't happen, but it's still affecting them, and it's affecting their relationships.
I agree. I'm not going to argue with you on that. I agree. But let me break this down to you. As a victim who was molested by his teacher. So let me break this to you. Especially black men. I agree with you with that. We do carry a lot of pain. But at the same time, I need the black woman. Every black woman on this phone, close your eyes and walk with me here. All the pain you carry, we hold that shit against you. We use it against you. It's not a tit for tat thing, but damn it, it comes a point in time to hold a person accountable. I'm here for you. I love you. I'm going to hug you while you crying. I'm going to wipe your tears. But your ass got to show up for the occasion. Now, you got to draw the line in the state. I'm only walking with your ass down the wrong street but so far. When I'm giving you an out, I'm holding your hand. At some point, you have to say, look, enough is enough. Now, I've been there for you, and you know I have because every time you turn around, here I am. I'm hugging you, wiping your tears. Now, damn it, you got to want more for yourself. Sometimes people don't want to do better because they ain't got to do better. It comes a point in time when enough is enough. We don't went the long way, the wrong way for too damn long. Now, I showed you I'm on your team. I showed you I got your back. Let's go. Now, that person got a choice. Man or woman got a choice. We're not going to keep harboring the bullshit when you got a verified, certified trooper on your team that's going to rock with you. Come on. Release that. You may not get it right the first year, but at least you showing up, showing me that you trying. I don't give a damn who it is, man or woman. You have no right to, or you have no right and more obligation to yourself not to, in the sake of being there for your brother, for your sister, to keep voluntarily fucking up while they choose to fuck up, and whether they know it or not. We know where our bread is buttered at. We know who on our team. Too long we waste time and we come back 20 years later.
You don't have any right. You have every right to do that. You have every
you
right
have
to
no
walk
right
you want to walk on Instagram.
You have no right to keep on.
Every right.
And maybe that's why the state of the black family is what it is. If you have a right to take your energy and go consciously down the wrong damn street to follow a grown person who choose not to take your help, who choose not to take this out to release for a period of time, maybe that's why we so fucked up.
So
maybe that's why.
Dr.
I ain't got that right. I don't believe in that.
Nick,
you got that right, but you got to still come with it.
Nick, allow Dr. A. Marie to rebuttal what you said. So give her the floor. So Dr. A. Marie.
Go for it.
Listen, every person, everywhere, at any time, has a right to choose what's good for them at that moment. And the other person has a right to choose how they respond to it. But you can't tell me if I'm going to support my man. You can't tell me if I'm going to support my man down whatever road that's a bad thing. You can't tell me that because my man is suffering that he's choosing that.
I never said that. I never said that. I said, I repeat exactly what I said. I said at a point, you have to offer that man to be accountable. You have to offer men to be accountable. Only if I know better.
I feel like I'm on the debate. When we just talk about the debate, No. I feel like I'm at the debate, right? I'm in the debate.
Yeah, I didn't say. I never said that. I never said the men don't choose.
A lot of the reasons why. I can't speak for where you've been and who you dealt with and how they live their lives. But I can tell you from my vantage point and the people that I've walked along the journey with, including people that were close to me, men that I've walked along this journey with, I can tell you that it's not as simple as you saying, get over it. It's not as simple as you
I
saying,
never said such a thing. Are we in the same conversation? I never said that.
You want to
I never said no such thing.
You say too much. You listen little.
That never came out of my mouth. Get over it never came out of my mouth. I said offer them an opportunity to release. That's not get over it.
I'm putting myself on mute, Patricia. Roll with it.
Okay. So let me ask. I'm curious, Nick. I want to ask you a question, and I'm wondering if you can be forthright for this. So I'm going to ask you. As a child or young adult, were you ever abused in any kind of way?
I said I was. So yes, and I said I was. So and half the things she said, and I said I never said. I didn't say get over it. I said as a victim of abuse myself. I said that first. So yeah.
So were you like less than 10 or older than 10 when it happened?
I was less than 10 one time. Well, no, not one time. With one person, and older than 10 the other person.
Did you ever get a chance to tell anyone?
I never said. What?
Did you ever tell anyone? Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
And did you get the response that you felt like you wanted to receive from telling?
One time when I was older, yeah.
But not when you were younger.
For most of my life, no. But
so
once
when
again,
I asked you, was the abuser a man or a woman?
One was a woman. The other one was almost a man.
He was almost a man? Okay, so it was 10. So
what he did
was
appropriate. What he did was appropriate. The sex shit was with a woman. But
have you run into them as adults? Have you walked it? Have you met them?
Absolutely.
Have you been able to Okay. So do you think that you hold any anger or animosity towards them still?
One, I don't hold no anger. Well, the one I met when I was older, I don't hold no animosity towards her. That shit was great. It kind of after I had to deal with shit, it opened my eyes, it opened my mind to things. We not cool, but I ain't gonna beef with that. The man, we not cool either, and I really have no beef with him per se. But at the same time, I don't deal with him at all. One of the family members I don't deal with.
Do you feel like that abuse affected the way that you deal with men in your adult life and how you view them and how you see them and your tolerance level for them? Do you think that had anything to do with what you experienced as a child?
Nah, it don't have nothing to do. I don't feel I have something against men. I don't. I love black men. I want us all to win.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, us winning requires us to own our shit. And I never said get over anything. All I said was if we choose to walk with someone, we owe that person a point in time. Enough is enough. Give them an opportunity to release. Offer them a safe place to land. I never said get over it. Some shit you ain't going to never get over. But at least sometimes you got a safe place to land. When the world get too crazy, dealing with what you got going on in your head, you know where home is. Never said get over it. Some shit you would never get over in your life. You just know how to deal with it better, or you know where to deal with it better. That special person might be the one. You know what? Everybody needs somebody to release with. or at least have the opportunity to. Whether they take it or not, that's another thing. But sometimes we got to offer some soft accountability. Enough is enough. We're not going to keep burning the house down and building it up. But I got you. I love you. In a soft way, let's figure out this shit together. There's a lot of people out here who don't know how to do that, and a lot of people don't know how to accept that. We got to be real with each other with this.
And maybe because maybe the reason why some men have that problem is because, you know, like you, like us, we have, see, women, we're able to say we've been abused, I've been abused, you've been, we're able to say it, we're able to write about it, we're able to look it in the eye and say, well, maybe some of the reasons why my relationships with some men haven't been where they need to be is because I'm still dealing with that father, daughter, or that male woman, that situation, that's something that I went through as a child. So we're able to face it. A lot of men cannot. You shared some of your story, and we even have to pull that out of you because I can tell that's not something you really want to talk about. But a lot of men are like you, and the way that they're handling it, because they don't have that outlet. I'm not giving them excuses, but I'm just saying if they haven't been able to confront that person or deal with that pain, then they're still carrying that pain, and everybody don't know how to handle it. Am I right, Dr. Anne-Marie?
I agree. I agree with you.
You said Dr. Anne-Marie.
I agree with you 100%. I agree 100%. Not everybody know how to deal with it, but sometimes you have to provide the opportunity. Sometimes you have to provide the opportunity. That's all I said, and that's facts. And y'all have to pull that shit out of me. Y'all some strange women on the phone. I told her that shit first. I'm good with my situation.
Right. So
especially when I see, what? Let me tell you how was I good with it.
Hear?
If you don't mind.
What do you hear, Kim? Because you deal with men, and they're paying a lot when you're doing your building men kingdom thing. So what do you hear from Nick right now? What and from what we're saying, how what are you feeling? What do you feel like you need to say?
Well, I'm not putting him on the spot at all. He said I don't know that it's fair that certain questions he asked.
Please put me on the spot, please, baby. I made it fair game. Go for it.
Okay. So, I hear what he's saying as far as people holding themselves accountable. I get that. I agree with that part. My only issue at this point is we kind of are veering off of what we talked about as far as the abuse is concerned. So when you have you made a question or a statement about why most men why most men don't say anything about the physical abuse is because they were taught as boys never to accept the fact that they can be abused. As children, they're taught not to cry. They're taught to suck it up. Oh, that don't hurt. Or nobody do nothing. You let some little girl poke you out. You know what I'm saying? They're already told what a man is supposed to be based on whoever standard a man is. So if they don't meet that standard based on whatever whoever made it up, then there is a psychological deficit of who I am as a man. If I do any of these things that go against what the definition of a man says, then I'm not that. So I can't say that I'm hurt. I can't even acknowledge the fact that something or somebody hurt me on any level. They're not allowed, if you will, without being ostracized. They're not allowed to say that hurt. They're not allowed to cry in public or even in private. They're not allowed to say somebody did something against me that I did not give permission to. They're not allowed to do that because they're looked at from strictly a physical point. Well, you're a grown-ass man. You're a man. You're stronger than a woman. How could you let that happen? What's happening?
Let me mute so we can hear it a little better. I'm gonna mute a few people. Okay, so go ahead, Kim. I'm sorry.
that they're looked at and judged strictly from their physical standpoint and what they have a physical ability to do. But what happens is when a trauma occurs, male or female, but since we're dealing with a man, when a trauma occurs with a man, a lot of times that is where he stops. Psychologically, he stops at the age of his trauma. So even though he looks like he's 40, 50, 60 years old, if his trauma occurred at 10, that's how old he is. He's right there. If he never got any help, if he was not able to heal from that trauma, he's 10. He's just in a 40, 50, 60-year-old shell. That's it. But we don't allow him to start at 10 and start over. We don't give him that opportunity. Nobody offers that because there is a societal expectation. You look like a man, you're over the age of 18, you're supposed to be a man, you're supposed to do certain things, you're supposed to think a certain way, you're supposed to be able to handle yourself as a grown-ass man, even though psychologically you're 10. So it's not fair for them. It's not fair. So statistically, and this is like maybe a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, there were over 880 reported cases of male abuse, of the men being abused by women. 880,000 reported cases of men being abused by the women. Why are they not saying anything? Because who are they going to say it to? Where are they going to go? Who's going to give them help? There's nothing around here for them because it's not an expectation that should even be something that can happen, let alone that it does happen, because nobody speaks on it when it does happen. So if you're not speaking on it, then it probably ain't happening. I know people who have been raped by women. I know men who have been raped by women, raped. I've seen it happen and being videoed and put on social media, men being raped by women. Some of them have been drugged and raped. Some of them have been gang raped, if you will. Some of them have been raped in the middle of the street. I mean, this is real shit. Some of them have been raped in their sleep just because of how they sleep. And I know somebody who went through that. They were raped in their sleep and ended up with a child from that. That wasn't voluntary, but now they got to love this child. We don't give them the opportunity to heal because society says you ain't supposed to hurt in the first place. So that's the problem. But again, I'm not a man, but based on, what I deal with, based on, what I hear, what I see, that is a problem. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay, so how do you want to answer that, Nick?
So I agree. Once again, I agree 100% with everybody on here. Everybody who has spoken, I agree. But the fact is, there comes a time. A man is going to take, we know better as many things. We may not have the answer, but we know what we're doing is wrong. It may be hard, but you know what? At some point, black women have loved us to death, straight up. And at some point, we need to experience what it's like not to be with y'all. When we can't appreciate y'all, we got to stop using that shit. Y'all don't get that out. Hold my hand and let me know what's okay. And that's just real talk. Sometimes it's just that simple. You know how many women I've meet and they just need a place to cry? Finally, somebody who understands. Because this shit goes both ways. Y'all supposed to use that hurt and pain. That makes y'all great women. She went through this, she went through this, and she still did this. And that makes y'all great women. That shit is crazy. And I'm not trying to say men don't hurt. Men do hurt. I hurt. I hurt often. But you know what? When I look at the fucking women in my life and the shit they go through, the shit they've been through, and still keep going, I don't have the right fucking keep being part of the problem. And if I'm going to make a mistake trying to fix my shit, it ain't going to be the same damn mistake we've been making for 2,000 years. So at some point, we don't have to hold ourselves accountable for it. At some point, we have to be held accountable. Now, what we do with it is our business. We are giving too many passes out here, and that shit ultimately comes back and slap y'all in the face. The pass y'all give us slaps y'all in the face. If you want to heal me, you want to heal a hurt man, yo, talk to that man. If you love that man, don't walk with his ass down the wrong side of the street for too long. We gonna walk down here with a purpose. We gonna walk down here. There are times I have to prove to you I'm on your team. I've dated women who've been abused and all kind of shit, but for a period of time, I'm gonna walk with you. I gotta let you know I ain't like these other dudes. I gotta let you know I'm gonna protect you from myself. Now, at some point, I expect reaction. I expect you to open up more. But if you just want to keep staying the same, I gotta make a decision. And it ain't no get over it. You may never get over it. You know, you may cry every night, but you know what? That's the fucking start. The fact that you'll let yourself cry in front of me. Cool. You may never get over it, and I may love you every day of your life, but what we not going to do is pretend that shit don't exist, and it's fucking us up. Because just because you choose not to deal with the situation's still dealing with you.
I do know that one thing I do wonder, like, what is it that makes people snap to the point where they want to take the person's life? Like, I can understand the people who are in, you know, these abusive relationships and they don't leave because their kids, you know, whatever their reasons are for staying. I get it. But still, you know, you got to think about your children. But I just don't understand what is it that snaps in a person that makes them go to the point of taking this person's life. Like, even if you're hitting somebody, what makes them get to the point that they snap, that they don't stop, or they go to the point of actually taking the person's life? Like, I don't understand how you could have been laying in bed with this person, loving this person, you know, having sex with this person, raising kids, been with them since you were kids, teenagers, whatever, all your life been together, and all of a sudden you snap to the point that you take this person's life. Like, that is the part that I do not understand. Yes, ma'am, please do.
I think I can answer that question in one word, and that would be coward.
Everybody, please, except for the person who's talking, everybody mute your phone so we can hear it clearly. Okay.
The one word that would answer that question would be coward. When people are not able, unless there is something seriously wrong chemically that they cannot control, if it gets to the point where you cannot pull yourself away, and again, that's the whole get out your damn feelings, because again, anger is an emotion. It stems a feeling. It prevents you from looking at all of the facts. If you cannot do that, then the best way to solve your problem is to rid the problem. But that is the mindset of a coward. That is a mindset of somebody, like Nick was saying, that does not want to take or does not want to be held accountable for his or her thoughts, behaviors, and responses. So that part, I completely agree with what he's saying about holding oneself accountable or being held accountable, because people usually don't. But it's that. If you don't want to or don't feel you have the ability to communicate in a way that that meets level ground, or you are not emotionally intelligent enough to accept the possibility that your opinion may get shunned. It may become a verbal battle. You know what I'm saying? If you're not intelligent emotionally enough to accept that the person probably does not want what you want. They may not want what you want. So instead of just accepting that, you're trying to force it on them. That's cowardly. That's almost saying that you don't have the strength, the power, willpower, whatever, to do it by yourself. It's cowardly, period. I mean, I don't know any other word to say for that. And being a coward is a choice, because nothing in your genetics makes you a coward.
So I know we have R. Marie who has joined us. R. Marie, are you on the line?
I am. Hello, everybody. Just been sitting back listening, like maybe I should.
So what are your thoughts? Because I know that you went through a period of time without telling your business or whatever, like, because we've all had our issues with domestic violence. But what are your thoughts about it?
Yeah, because my domestic violence was more mental, less physical. You know, I'm an excellent fighter, so I ain't take too many L's in a lifetime. But my thing is, it is cowardly for a man. And there's anger. You know, there's a lot of times. So the black man has been treated and used and abused for so long. And then you have a lot of black men who did not grow up with their fathers and stuff, their fathers to show them. So they kind of had to learn. You're going to learn one way. If you don't learn it at the crib, if you're not seeing it from your father how to properly treat somebody, and you see that they're going through domestic, violence, or you're the abuser to that person, I mean, you picked up. It's just like a child covered what they see. So growing up, you're going to see something. And if you've witnessed people being in abusive relationships, you're going to do one or two things. You're either A, going to follow suit, because 9 times out of 10, a lot of women won't leave. They have to be completely fed up, or desperate. But I do feel like the black man has been beat down for a very long time, but what they realize is that they're changed. You have a place. You were brought on this earth to protect and serve. We're brought on this earth to be submissive and serve, but you were brought on this earth to protect us. So if you're not protecting us, or you getting mad at something else and you come home and think you can slap your woman around or whatever, then that's not cool. And like, who was that DJ that said that is the choice, because you don't have to do that. You can't say, well, I got so angry that I did this, and that, or that person made me so mad, and you just come home and you just flip out. Because for one, no one in the house that you coming home to show your ass did anything to you. That is a choice. I know a couple of men who grew up abusive. One man who grew up kind of abusive, father wasn't really there. Family, it's a generational family drinking, and he just kind of followed suit. And then there's another guy that I know who was abused, or who witnessed abuse of his mom growing up, and he felt helpless. But as he became an adult man, he chose not to go that route. He saw how his mom was hurt by it. So it is a choice. And a lot of times the woman will stand by you, but we're not a doormat. We're not a punching bag. We're none of that. When I was married for all the years I was married, it wasn't about a fight. But if he could psychologically break me down, that's still an abuse. Because whatever you got to do to control that other person, it's like, why do you feel like everything you have to be in control? You don't. When you get with a partner, you're with a partner. Yes, I do believe it should be a head of a house. Everybody can't wear the pants. That is the man's job. So let's say this man make a little less than the woman. That doesn't mean she's wearing the pants in the house. You still get to be a man, but you don't get to get upset and take it out on your household. With or without children. But if children are in the house, they're watching you, and they're watching what you're doing. You don't want your children to grow up and you see that your son is beating the hell out of somebody, and what you gonna do? Or you don't want to see your daughter coming over with bruises and black eyes, or you may like the person, or they're one way in front of a crowd and a monster behind closed doors. If you know that you have an issue, get help. And for people like, ain't nobody ever done shit for me, I've seen too many times from videos, from commercials, from books like Trisha and some of your books. And in every last one of your books, I believe, towards the end or at the beginning, there's different news. If you really want to get the help is available. The choice is up to you. So it's like DJ still spirals down to what DJ say. It is a choice that this person is making.
So for women, so the one thing that I think a lot of women, I don't know about a lot of domestic violence shelters for men. I don't. But for women, the domestic violence shelters are out there. So that's another reason why I don't understand why the women stay to that point. If you're with somebody and that person, you get that nervous feeling whenever they're around. Like you'll hear people say, well, she said she was scared of him. She said she was afraid. She said that he threatened her life and all that kind of stuff. So I don't understand why it is. I don't know if they just don't know about the domestic violence shelters, or why is it that they continue to stay in the home when they know that this person has already threatened them. He punched you, knocked you in the head last night. You know what I'm saying? He came at you with a knife the night before. So why are you still there with your kids another night waiting for him to do something else when you have domestic violence shelters? There are domestic violence shelters all over this country, all over the United States. And you know,
I can answer that
so
too.
I don't know if it's because they don't know they exist or whatever. Okay, so definitely answer that, and then after you, Kim, I want Misty to speak because Misty over there quiet as a doorknob, and let her say what she feels. But first, Kim, why do you think they stay there even when it gets violent? Like, why do they stay so long?
3 words. 3 words. I love you. So what happens when a person is so emotionally under the control of or allows themselves to be controlled by another person by what they say or do or momentarily makes them feel, then they're very vulnerable to whatever that person does. And if you pay attention every time, and we're gonna use the man as the abuser, okay, just for this example. But every time a woman is abused by her boyfriend or husband, he says, "You know I love you. I'm sorry. Why you make me do that?" These are the words that she hears. But she concentrated on, "I love you. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. I love you." So now she stays because now she has a morbid understanding that love involves some physical contact that ain't a hug. So if he's not beating on her, if he's not showing some type of abusive behavior toward her based on what she's been used to, he don't love her. So she stays because she needs to be, quote unquote, loved by him based on what he shows her love is. He's constantly telling her he loves her and then beat her ass, constantly. But this is habitual now. Now she's learned these two things go together because she'll keep defending him. But he loves me. But he said he loves me. That's why she stays, because he said he loves her. So if she or he does not have a clear understanding on what love is outside of the emotion, the feeling, outside of all of that, then they will accept any bullshit-ass explanation for it, and they will stay in it, and they will look for something that will demonstrate that definition. They will create scenarios that fit the definition that they've been given or that they've lived through. They accept that. That is their truth. That is the fact. That's what they know. Just like some people love to be what they see on TV.
I do agree that, like with you and with R. Marie, about the emotional abuse. A lot of people don't feel like they're being abused because they don't, at that moment, they're not hitting them. Well, he never hit me, but he tears you down, or she tears you down to the point where you feel like you ain't nothing. You come home and you can't do nothing right. I was in that kind of relationship. I could not do anything right in this man's eyes. There was nothing. Everything I thought I was doing right, I still was not doing right. Like there was nothing. I couldn't do nothing right in this man's eyes. And even when I did something, I'm like, oh, I know, this is I did good. He would come and find a way to point out the negativity up under it, around, to make me feel like at the end of the day, I ain't did shit. Like it was just an emotional roller coaster ride, emotional abuse
all the, just emotional. So, Misty, I want to bring you in, and I just want to. What are your thoughts about domestic violence as far as the emotional abuse?
I'm as far as emotional, I was verbally abused for like 13 out of 16 years, and it took me to a place to where I still fight with it today, because I question a lot of things about myself, but I'm learning through all that I am not what he said, and the devil is a lie, but personally, myself, I don't stand for it, I'm not going for it, and I don't know, but my mom did give me permission to talk about when we was growing up and she was being physically abused in front of us. She actually called me 10 minutes before the show because I was over there, and I told her what the topic of the show was going to be tonight, and she said, Misty, I'll give you permission to talk about the domestic violence that she went through as when she was raising us, and she said, that even the kids go through, and it strings out through your life. She said that maybe that's the reason why we pick, we end up with the wrong men, and because we never knew what love really was. But it does have a great impact on children if they're there, and your upbringing, and your future and stuff, and it's really really detrimental that if someone is being physically, mentally, emotionally, verbally abused to get out. I actually wrote a few pages some years ago on the abuse that I went through, and also with the all sides of abuse. And I don't know, it's very heavy. And right before the show started, I also seen this girl on Facebook posted a picture of her face where her husband bit her. She said he's an alcoholic and he's very abusive when he gets drunk. And she had this big old bite mark in her face. And I'm like, Lord, you need to get out. And she was making excuses. Like Kim said, he loves me. He only do it when he's drunk. What do you mean what else is he going to do? How far is it going to go? How far are you going to let this go? And I remember one time, my ex of 16 years, the very first time he put his hands on me, he choked me and picked me up off my feet, and I had a paring knife in my hand, and I stabbed him in the head. And at that point in time, I pulled it out. I mean, I knew what I was doing. I know, that when you stab somebody or when somebody says you do not remove the knife or whatever, but I pulled it out on purpose because me being a woman growing up and, a child growing up in that kind of environment, I'm going to defend myself to all costs because me seeing my mom's jaw wired shut and her drinking mashed potatoes from a straw for 6 months to a year, she had 2 steel plates in her arm to where she can't bend her arm to this day. You ain't going to put your hands on me. I'm sorry. I'm a fighter. And for the life of me, I never understood why he took and kissed me in my mouth and told me he loved me. Later on down the, as years passed in that relationship, he told me because I was the only other woman that ever defended myself from him. And he loved me for that. And I'm like, you're crazy. To this day, we ain't been together in what? I think it's been almost 10 years. He still threatened my life. I'm going to kill you. Yeah, whatever. Okay. I ain't scared. Let that be your motivation. Hey, it's either kill or be killed, So, but, hey. But I think if anybody is out there going through any kind of domestic violence or abuse, get out. It's not worth it, and it's not love. That's not love. Mm-mm.
So it makes you wonder why. It makes you wonder if what they went through as a child and what they saw their parents go through, if that must be love. You know, when parents stay together and they fight and they all that craziness and the kids are watching that, then they end up doing the same thing when they grow up because that's what they figure love is. My parents did it, and, you know, they've been together 50 years, 40 years, 30 years, you know, and they love each other, but they fought this and the other, so this must be love. I'm thinking, you know what I'm saying? That's my thought.
Right. And then thinking back as well, me sitting here thinking now in my thoughts, I did become verbally abusive to other people, you know, and it's not right. That's why I'm glad that I'm sitting over here and I'm able to, you know, be by myself and go through this and notice where I need help at and ask, you know, the Most High to help me with everything, because it's not love, and hurt people, you know, and it become hatred. I done been told here lately, my heart is on ice. You know, I'm bitter. Yeah, it could be, you know, but let me sit here and get the help that I need from the Most High. Leave me alone, you know, just let me be right now, you know, because I need to concentrate on me, and I need to be cleansed of whatever's in me that is not of Him, you know, in order to be able to become the person that I'm supposed to be, you know, and show love and not harm to anybody.
So going back to Nick. So, Nick, what do you think, what are your thoughts as far as the emotional abuse?
Honestly.
Nick?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Honestly. I think emotional abuse is just as bad as physical abuse. It's just as bad. But I'm a firm believer in something. Like, and it might not be received. It might not be received too well. But so, listen. We talk about why stay. Why not go get help if you need? How many crackheads, instead of going to get treated for addiction, go get the next fix? Sometimes it's bigger than this. We have been preyed upon, especially women, and we're going to include all women for this. Women have been preyed upon for centuries on how to perfect taking an ass whooping, how to perfect being dehumanized, taken as property, and basically taking shit and turning soup out of it. Perfected. This shit don't stop. We have to stop this shit ourselves. You're not going to get nobody to just say, you know what, I need help. That's hard pressed to do. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but who's going to wake up today? That takes accountability. Person that we harmed yesterday. We damn sure ain't about to walk up in no clinic and say, yo, I'm a abuser, I'm an alcoholic. We have to. There are times we have to stop walking by that person's side and let them experience what the hell you doing has lost you. The emotional abuse, a lot of men abuse women emotionally because we not happy with ourselves. It's not that. We really do may love you. I promise some of them do. But you know what? You're the closest thing to me. And I see you better than me. I got a friend right now. Here I go, another man I talk to and I'm there for, but I'm a dog his ass because I'm a dog the shit out of his ass. His wife want to go to church. He can't go to church because it makes him look bad. Until he ready to go to church, he can't go. She want to go to school. Can't go to school because you bettering yourself, and I'm not ready to better myself. You going to make me look bad. Understand. We know what the fuck we doing. You got to give us credit where credit is due. And we make y'all believe we don't know what the fuck we do. We know what we doing to put a facade on to make you feel less than. Why do you think when slavery ended, a lot of the damn slaves stayed on a damn plantation. Why? Because that's all they knew. It wasn't about love. Why do you think when some people get released out of jail, some people free to go, don't want to go? We have to understand it's more complex than that. Other than that, we just going to keep talking about, guess what? Our great-great-great-grandkids going to have the same fucking conversation on a Thursday at 8 o'clock. There has to be a point in time when enough is enough. Enough is enough. It's
so
either fucking right case over there.
Okay, but unlike from back when slavery ended, and women just didn't have a voice. But let's fast forward a few decades up to we're in a new millennium now. There's so many different places that women can go. Because I do agree with you, Nick. I do believe that if some women feel so devalued or, he's the best thing I got, he may not be much or nothing, but he loves me, so I'll take some of the beatings, and I do have people brag, oh, we've been together 30, 40 years, but it's the most unhappiest marriage or relationship, but they feel like they still got credit because they stayed together through thick and thin, but sometimes just because you love somebody doesn't necessarily mean that y'all are equally yoked. Some people just do not mesh, and you can love them dearly, but you are 100%, you hit so many key points, and that's kudos to you, but there are so many places, there's so many different resources now, but fear does keep a lot of women there, and there's some women that would rather be with the man who's abusive than be alone. I've seen some women that choose over their children.
You know what? There could be 8 million places, 8 million options, 8 million opportunities. You need the one great reason, and everybody's fucking reason ain't yours. And just like somebody else's reason wouldn't be yours. You can have an 800 empty, vacant, abused houses for abused men, and 2 million for abused women. Vacancies right now. But you gotta have one great reason to take your ass there, and we can't always put our reason on somebody else.
That is true.
That is
true. That's why when we keep talking this, we got to understand what rocks you may not rock her. What rocks me may not rock him. All I can do is offer you the opportunity when you're ready. When that one reason do come, you ready. You make a deal with a slap in the face. But cutting your hair, making you bored, that might be drunk. When he cuts your fucking hair, I got the place for you. Sometimes you have to provide the place, and, this is the information. Here's my number. You call me when you need me, because you ain't ready yet.
So if you don't mind, I want to jump in, and I want to give this National Domestic Violence Hotline number, because maybe some people don't know it. So there is a National Domestic Violence Hotline that you can call, 1-800-799-7233. You can actually call that number, and if you are in fear of your life, or this person has threatened you, and you just don't know what to do, I would start by calling that number. If going to a domestic violence shelter is something that you need to do, they can give you a shelter that's in your area that you can go to or call. And if they have open rooms or whatever that you can go to, or they can find one that is open. But y'all know I gotta take my music break. I'm sorry. Y'all know I gotta take. I've been real good, so I'm gonna take the opportunity to take my music break, and we're gonna come back with this discussion. I'm sorry, y'all know I gotta play my music.
Just
so
don't play the
song,
album.
a couple songs. I'm just do like two.
All right.
All right. Take this music break, y'all. So y'all can go get y'all some tea or juice or liquor or whatever, and we'll be right back on the Move Unscripted, y'all. Okay.
Baby, sit down for a second. I really got something to tell you. You might not like what I got to say, but baby, please let me finish. Don't say a word. For obvious reasons, never should've cheated, never should've brought that. I don't know what the hell I was thinking about. I know I should know better. This should be me and you forever. But I didn't, and I'm hoping it's enough to say I'm sorry. I know, but I'm sorry. Girl, I'm not too proud to say I'm sorry. No, this can't be the ending to our story. Girl, you're supposed to be my. Supposed to be my. Supposed to be my. Hoping it's enough to say I'm sorry. I know that I did my dirt, but this one cut you deep. And I could give you promises, but talk is hella cheap. No, baby, don't you moan. Pretty mama, don't you weep. I'ma make it all up to you. Put that on a diamond ring for obvious reasons. Never should've cheated. Now you packing your bags and it looks like you mean it. Girl, I hope you don't mean it. Just cause it rains, you don't go chasing seasons. Nah. Just cause it rains, you don't go chasing seasons. But I'm hoping it's enough to say I'm sorry. I know I fucked up, but I'm sorry. Girl, I'm not too proud to say I'm sorry. No, this can't be the ending to our story. Girl, you're supposed to be my. Supposed to be my. Supposed to be my. Hoping it's enough to say I'm sorry. Ruffled your feathers too many times. Now once more, I'm begging you to stay with me. Don't go. Oh yeah, I know I did it, but the fact is I'm not blind. But enough to say I'm sorry. Girl, I fucked up, but I'm sorry. I ain't too proud to say I'm sorry. Go bend the knees, girl, I'm sorry. I'm hoping it's enough to say I'm sorry. I know, but I'm sorry. Girl, I'm not too proud to say I'm sorry. This can't be the ending to our story, girl. You're supposed to be my. Supposed to be my. You're supposed to be my.
Back to step one, we are, aren't we? Who am I? Tell me, baby, is it a mistake? I've been giving more than I take. Do you ever miss me when I'm gone? I need to know.
You have tuned in to another episode of On the Move Unscripted on Purpose. So today we're talking about domestic violence, and just in case you didn't get the number for the domestic violence hotline, it's 1-800-799-7233. I actually did a movie called This Can't Be Love, which came from a book that I did, and for anyone who wants to watch it, you can go on YouTube and look up This Can't Be Love by Patricia Goins, and you can actually see the movie. And I feel like the movie, it really speaks to, a lot of people, a lot of women who have been abused, and just lets you know that there are other options. So the question that song poses is, who am I? So the question is, who are you? Do you feel like, don't you feel like you're better than what you're receiving? Do you really want to continue a life of abuse and pain and suffering? You know what I'm saying? Because you have options. And if you don't want to do it for yourself, then do it for your children. So I'm bringing back my panel back on the line. Everyone, please unmute your phone except for the one who's talking. So I don't know, DJ, are you still on the line?
Yes, I am.
So I know you deal with a lot of, one of your nonprofits is dealing with domestic violence. So, what do y'all tell the ladies? What are some things that you tell them to help them if they're in these abusive relationships, or even what do you say to the survivors who have gotten out of the relationship but they are still holding on to that pain? And they're putting that pain on their children, that child that's by the abuser or whatever. Like, what do you say to the ladies?
Okay, so for us, we, like I mentioned, we did our initial launch last year, and it's not that we have an actual program yet, but this is a very, this is really at the front of our list. But when we did it, like you were invited and Kim was there, it was a community event that we were just going to have a discussion, and we had questions. So that was the actual launch, and we had
what's poppin', baby?
Amazing panel.
Wait.
Amazing
Come
panel.
follow me.
Sorry?
Then I do better than that. There you go. Come follow me.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't hear everything. Hello? Hello?
I'm here. I don't know what happened to everybody else, but you can keep talking.
Keep talking, DJ.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought someone was talking. I thought I heard somebody talking, and I'm sorry. So basically, like I said, it was more of a panel, a community to start the discussion. We don't have a program yet. So that's where we are. And I did want to read one of the statistics, just a couple. It says 1 in 3 women and then 1 in 4 men in the United States have experienced some form of physical violence by an intimate partner. So that's 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men.
Wow. That's deep. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men. So that basically
experience. And it's talking specifically about physical violence. It's physical violence. This is specific to physical violence, meaning somebody put their hands on somebody. Somebody may have been to the hospital. Somebody, but that is just that, because there's various forms, like we mentioned earlier, with the verbal, there's sexual, there's even financial abuse. So there's different forms, but that specific statistic is related to physical violence by an intimate partner.
So I'm curious, has anyone else actually been to a domestic violence shelter before? Other than myself, has anyone else had to go to a shelter?
No,
yeah,
not me.
I did. This is our Marie. I was we were living out of town, So I was kind of new to the town. I was living in West Virginia, and I didn't really know my way around. But when I had got there, because my husband had got there a couple months earlier, and found him a little girlfriend or whatnot. So once everything abrupted and we kind of got into it, you know, because I'm not nobody's punching bag, and I'm clearly not going for it. So what he did was grab the keys first and rush. He took all the keys with him. We had 3 vehicles. He took all the keys, jumped in his truck. He had the nerve. I mean, because we went into a physical altercation, so he had clothes ripped on him a little bit. I was looking way back because that was one of the times it was physical. And he hurries up and run downtown and got a protective order against me. No, and I didn't have a way down there. I didn't even really know my way. I just knew that downtown was over a couple hills. So what took him about 5-10 minutes to get down there and do his all-star performance, it took me like maybe a 35-40-minute walk from where I lived to get downtown because I didn't know anybody. And when I got there, you know, the judge clearly saw that he was lying, but since I wasn't there to defend myself, he went ahead and granted him. And so for a week, I had to find some place to stay, and I'm like, I don't know anybody. We're here because of my husband's job. So the judge had his secretary get the women's, it was a women and children's shelter. And it was new. I mean, at first I was very pissed, but towards the end of the week, I was thankful to God that I did get to go because although I didn't feel that I was where those women was, I don't know why. I felt like because it's usually argument as opposed to a physical altercation, but just dealing with these women, it's women from all different nationalities. Well, not really. We were in West Virginia, but it was black and white women in there. All of them had their children. I didn't have my children with me. But, I mean, it was very helpful. It was very insightful. They gave you a lot of, I mean, you did counseling. You had a section that you had to clean up. I was the only woman in there that worked, so I still had to, you know, like put away the dishes when I come back. And I was excused from some of the counseling sessions and some of the things they did. But I found it to be incredibly helpful. And then for the women, you know, them as they got finished or wherever they were trying to go, you know, they were getting vouchers to move forward. And some really, truly did not want to be with their better half, didn't want them to know where they were. So, I mean, you had, I forgot, it was somebody else that came in, you know, that gave you a secret place to go where no one knew about, you know, just you and your children. And so it was completely insightful, but it still pissed me off that I was snatched out of my house over a lie from a fight that my husband started, you know, and that whole week, you know, my children stayed at the house with him, and they were young, but they weren't, my daughters were young, like toddlers, but my sons were kids, like 10 and 9, you know, so they kind of saw, you know, and my husband introduced the girlfriend as the babysitter, you know, and then she had a brother that was close in their age group. I mean, so this bitch spent that night at my house all week, and I didn't have anything to wear to work. So, you know, I had to sneak in my house. You know, I had to sneak, you know, and try to grab things while everybody was asleep because it was in the week. I think everybody had to leave, like, well, the people who had to go to work, or when we had to leave at 6. And I knew, you know, it was going on the weekend, but I still had to work. You know, and so when I snuck in my house and saw that, I mean, I was stuck at a crossroads. I'm like, you can either get your gun, you know, where, you know, you and your husband keep your gun and shoot both of them, and hopefully you will win your case on passion of crime. You know, it was passionate. I was in love. I can't believe this woman was in my bed. I'm like, or, you know, every thought in the world of death came across. But I guess what won was the revenge. Like, you know what? You're about to plot your departure from this man because he is so low that he would put your ass out. He know you don't know this town. He have his girlfriend up in here under your children pretending like she is the baby. You know, I'm like, it's all bad. You know, that was at the very lowest point in my life. And I'm going to just be very honest. I never would have made it without Jesus. I went to a good friend of mine who was like a pastor, evangelist type pastor, and she broke down and just immediately went into prayer. I mean, and I had to pray when I wanted to. I had to pray when I didn't, when I was angry, because it was so many emotions. So it was necessary. Prayer is what kept my black ass out of jail, prison. I would probably just be getting out. Double homicide, I may not get out, So it was, because it's not worth a moment of your freedom. I'm just, because there was a couple women there that tried to kill themselves or became cutters. I'm like, is he really worth you giving up your whole life? Is that the only man on earth that you possibly think that you can get? And so that's when the counselor put me aside, like, you don't really seem to fit our criteria. I'm like, look, I was bamboozled, and I'm on some vengeance, and I'm not from the country. I'm a city person, and I got a real thug type of mentality, attitude, and I'm going to get him back. And it was, everything was in motion, but all things happen for a reason. And I'm glad I did not act on my impulses. That's why I say you have a choice. You could bash this woman's face in, you could bash this man's face in, but you have a choice, because behind every choice, there are consequences. There's a cause and effect. You could sit there, I was mad at that. But my thing is, I heard an old man tell me a long, long time ago, don't let 5-second angry decision cost you a lifetime of pain. And that would have been me away from my baby. That would have been me getting out with a felony, not being able to apply for anything that I probably would have needed. That was too much. And then that's when I realized you give this man all this power. You give him all of you. And God is a jealous God. You never give some man all of you. I give you everything. God, I give I remember saying those things. What can I do? What can I do? Because I saw my mom divorced twice. Even my grandmother was divorced once. So I was determined, no matter what, I'm going to break this divorce cycle. But it took a minute. And it took me to mature something to understand that it's true. Now, you can stay in a real sorry marriage or an unloved marriage to say, oh, well, I've been with him for 30, 40 years. But if you're telling me that you only get one chance at this life, to my knowledge. And I don't want to spend 40 years being with somebody that I literally cannot stand. Because I'm wondering, I care about what everybody else says. When I got to the point in my life where I don't give a shit what nobody think about my choices, I was able to let go. Because you know what? No matter how hard you try, you are not going to please everybody, no matter what. There's always going to be somebody that's going to come to.
So there's somebody who's called in. There's somebody who's called in who wants to join the conversation. And your number is 647. Your number is 647. Your area code is 647.
Yeah. Good evening, ladies. How you doing?
Good evening. What's your name?
Patrick.
What's your name? Patrick. Okay. Hi, Patrick.
Yeah.
Where are you calling from?
How you doing? I'm calling from Toronto.
How you doing? Toronto.
I'm doing all right.
All right. What would you like to add to the discussion, sir?
I was really I kind of hit one by mistake, but I really was just enjoying the conversation. I mean, the young lady's testimony was pretty moving. The only thing I will add is that a lot of times we just choose people who we think are good and we believe them, but a lot of times the people that we pick to be in our lives they're reflective, meaning they're reflective of us. When there's times when I was broken, I got broken people.
That's right.
Everybody that I ever let in my life was just a reflection of who I was at that time.
That's correct.
Rather good or bad. So just enjoying the conversation and what you got. And that's another thing. I will put this point out there. There's got to be a way for us to figure out how to teach young people not necessarily how to pick a mate, but what things to look out for. And kind of the psychological makeup of people generally, so that they can identify selfishness, they can identify people who are dishonest, that are insecure, that kind of thing, because by and large, we grew up and nobody told us or taught us how to choose a mate.
Can I interrupt you real quick?
Go ahead.
I agree to a point, but it's not so much about us being taught how to choose one as it is how to be one with self first. We're not taught that. We're always taught on, what to do for somebody else, what to look out for in somebody else. We're not taught to look within ourselves and find ourselves, period. So just like you were saying, and I agreed, I was speaking on it before, who you attract is who you are at that moment. That's who you are. You're going to attract your reflection. So you can't really teach somebody, well, you need to look for somebody that does this. This is what they will do if you're not that. Whatever it is you want to attract, you must first be that. Like attract like. You have to be that. So if you are an individual who has been operating in your misrepresentative all of your life, meaning you have not come to the grips of who you are for real, without your feelings being in the way, you have not accepted your tower moments, you have not accepted your shadow moments, you have not looked at all of your shit and said, you know what, that is some shit. I need to fix that. That's an error of mine. That's a weakness of mine. I need to correct that. I need to hold myself accountable for who I am. I need to know my identity based on my identity, not on what somebody else said I am or who somebody else said I am. We can't keep looking at and for other people to do that. That's also how we end up in abusive relationships, because we're looking at or we're accepting the identity that the abuser has put upon us because we have not created or accepted our own true identity. If I'm telling you you are a victim, you're going to act like a victim. If I'm telling you you ain't shit, you're going to feel like you ain't shit because you are accepting that because you don't know your own self. So anytime somebody tells you something continuously, you receive that, your brain is going to process that information as a fact because it keeps being told. So if you don't know you, then you will most likely accept the identification given to you, period. So I agree with you to a point, but the rest of it is about us. We don't know or remember how to love us because we have been told and taught that we don't know who we are. How are you going to love you if you don't know who you are? How are you going to love somebody else if they're a reflection of self and you don't know who you are? Who are you looking at then? What are you receiving from this other person? What is the reflection? What is the energy that's being exchanged? If you don't recognize self, how do you see it in somebody else? That's the problem.
So Dr. A. Marie has been pretty quiet. Are you still on the line, Dr. A. Marie?
I'm here.
So what do you have to offer to what Kim and Patrick said?
Well, what I'd like to go back to is back to your question of why do women stay when they know that there's help available, when they know that there are lots of shelters available. Why do they stay? That's a common question that's asked often of people who are not in the shoes of the victim. Why do you stay? Why don't you just leave? It's not always that simple, but I like to bring it down to a simple example. And while many may not think it's relevant, it's very relevant when you get down to how the brain works and how we think and behave. So a simple example of that is think about anything that you do that has been known to kill another person. Yet you continue to do it. For some people, it's smoking. For some people, it's drinking. For some people, overeating, driving, unprotected sex. Lots of different things that we as people do that we know can kill us. but we do it. Why do we do that? One of the reasons that we do that is that we don't think that the ultimate will happen to us. We don't think, and I'm a victim of domestic violence, abuse, rape, been shot at, been in witness protection, you name it, cigarettes put out, on my forehead, on and on and on and on. Yes, I've been in a domestic violence shelter or two. Right? But what we don't think while we're in that situation necessarily is that the ultimate will happen to us. We don't think that cigarettes will kill us or secondhand smoke will kill us. Driving fast above the speed limit around a curve will kill us, but it kills people every day. What we do, our mentality is that we're set to get our basic needs met. So a lot of victims, a lot of people who remain in those situations, even though they have a clue that they could die from it, they're in those situations because that person is meeting some need. And until the victim can get that need met on his or her own, it's not likely that they will leave that situation. And sometimes they leave the situation, but they go right back. And people wonder, why do they go back? Because you haven't taught them yet how to get that need met, the need that other person was fulfilling. Because when it's good, it's good. When an abuser isn't abusing, typically they're good. They're saying nice things. They're doing nice things. They're good. And so that part is fulfilling some need in the victim. And that part feels better to the brain than the abuse feels worse. So until we can figure out what those are and get those met, yeah, a lot of people are going to stay stuck. That's what I have to contribute to this conversation. Take a look a little bit deeper than that. Everybody has a different pain threshold. My pain threshold at this point in my life, no, I'm not taking no ass whoopings, but you're not going to call me a bitch. You're not going to call me out of my name, because at that point, I'm done. Somebody else might laugh at that. They have a different pain threshold. I don't knock it. If it works for you, do you. But for me, that doesn't work. But I do understand the other side of it. And that's because I found a way at this point in my life to get my needs met. My need for love, because I love myself. My need for shelter. I work. I make money. I provide my own shelter. My need for food, that's met. So my basic stuff, love, belonging, self-esteem, all of that's good. So it's not likely that I'm going to stay with somebody and endure their bullshit because I have my needs met.
So I want to jump back to Patrick while we got him on the line. And I just want to pose a question to you, Patrick, that I posed to Nick earlier. We find that it's more difficult for men to say that they've been abused or hurt or whatever. Why do you think that is? And have you ever experienced any type of abuse in your life?
No, I haven't suffered any type of abuse, or I guess nothing people would call abuse. I mean, I had some pretty stiff whoopings when I was younger, but other than that, no. I mean, no real abuse. And I had my mom and my dad in the house, and my dad was pretty protective. And as a result, when I got married and had children, I was really protective. Like, I didn't let them out of my sight. They were with me all the time. I don't know, this whole thing with abuse, I guess, when it shows itself, like, especially with men, like, when it shows itself, that's what it is, right? So when these guys get upset and they look like they're going to hit people or they throw something, that's what it is. And I think that's one of the things that we need to teach is first time, last time. First time, he raises his hand. That should be the last time. That means that this arrangement is over. That whatever is going on between those two people is over. So I agree with what the speaker just said about knowing yourself and having that confidence. That when these guys do this thing the first time, it's over. He's letting you know that the contract that we had, that I thought we had from a woman's point of view, is over. This relationship, whatever it was, is no longer. That's it. And that should be said out of every woman's mouth before any relationship. If you ever raise your hand against me, you are letting me know that this arrangement is over. That's it.
Patricia, I'm sorry, Patrick. I wanted to add something
No, go ahead.
What he said as far as not being in an abusive relationship, not having ever experienced that, but then you mentioned that you had, got a couple whoopings in your life. So here's the thing. We're taught, as it's written, spare the rod, spoil the child, right? But what makes it different? When the children get spanked, beat, whatever word you want to use, they're getting that because the parent is not pleased with what the child has done. So the consequence is, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to explain to you why you need to get this done. I'm going to force you into submission. That's still abuse. But we're taught that it's okay because it's written in the Bible a certain kind of way. It's still the same thing. That also is a slave mentality. That is a slave mentality. That's a slave master mentality. So we've all been abused, and we all abuse. If we got kids and we ever whooped them, we are abusers.
I agree, and I've never whipped my children. I've never had to, but because I found other ways, right? So, so I agree. I agree with what you said. Now, having said that, my dad is one of my best friends ever in this world. You know what I mean? And was it excessive? No, but that's how he was, and he was raised even much worse than that. So I can't even imagine, so I agree with that. That's something that we all have to get better at. We have to improve. That's how you evolve as a race. That's how you evolve. You improve with every generation. They improve on the last generation. So I agree.
One of my viewers has a question for you, Patrick. He's saying it's easy to say that, but what if it's 5 to 10 years down the road and kids are involved and it was a physical action? It's not so easy to just say I'm done. It's not so much a question, but
I think every situation is probably a little different, and I understand. I understand that these situations are difficult. None of them are easy. That's why I think that these things need to be spoken about up front in the dating process. That, hey, if you ever get mad at me, that's fine. If you ever get upset with me, that's fine. You can storm out and we can argue and all that. But if you ever raise your hand, this arrangement is over. You're letting me know at that point that this arrangement is over. Now, these things are difficult, but guess what? If he keeps doing it and you get really hurt, you're going to be out there on your own anyway. You're going to have to figure out how to get away from this guy eventually anyway.
So that goes also back to what Nick was saying earlier about the being accountable, being held accountable. So if he or she lays a hand on you outside of loving you, outside of giving you a hug one time, and you stick around for another, that's on you to keep. And you already know you didn't like the first one. You already knew that. That one didn't feel good. Why stick around for the possibility of another one? That is self-accountability. That's the part that we keep avoiding. There's always a way out in the beginning. But if we justify it based on what he or she has told us, based on, like I said, that whole I love you, if we justify their actions based on that definition, we find a reason to stay and make it okay. Then we accept being a victim by the action.
Yeah, I agree, but I think education is big. And I think what we do is we leave the young kids out to try to figure this out themselves. I think there needs to be a way to incorporate this so that the young girls at a young age, before they get into any of these serious relationships, understand certain things. Right? We're leaving them to their own devices, and I don't think that's good. I think these things need to be taught.
They need to be reminded who they are, period. They need to know to love themselves. If they love themselves, then they will get the reflection. Then they will draw onto themselves exactly what and who they are.
But there's some things that men do that women need to be taught about at a young age. That's almost mandatory.
And that may, Patrick and Tim, that may be something that we could talk about next week as we start to dwindle down to our last, couple minute or so. So I just want to, I hate to cut it off like that, but y'all know if I don't, then Blog Talk will anyway. So great discussion. Domestic violence is all month long. So I hope that everybody comes back and we can continue to talk about this and also about the debate. We didn't get a chance to talk about the debate last night with the vice presidents and stuff, and I think that would be a good topic as well. But our time has dwindled down.
Can you repeat that hotline number real quick? Can you repeat the hotline number?
So the number is 1-800-799-7233. 1-800-799-7233. And you really can't start your life over at these domestic violence shelters. We don't have time to go into it today, but hopefully next week we can talk about it more since domestic violence month is obviously all month long. So anyway, much love to y'all. Love y'all with, as Kim says, with how you say it, Kim?
On purpose, with purpose.
On purpose, with purpose. Thank y'all so much, and we'll talk again next week on the Move Unscripted, On Purpose, y'all. Next week, Thursday, 8 p.m. Bye-bye.
I feel sorry for the ones that was doubting me, for the ones that walked out on me. I feel sorry, I never knew it would end this way, but I know it won't be the same. I feel sorry for who caused your misperception, finally realizing it was only lessons that I had to learn. I ain't stressing, only counting blessings. I remember like it was yesterday. You was dapping me up, showing me love. Women was all in my face, and I guess that's the reason haters throwing salt in the game. Shutting the stage down. You cannot tell me that this is fake. See, I'm fly when I grind on solo. I'm taking time to refine what I do it for. I let my mind go and fly where it's beautiful. Now back to the paper, stacking right now for later. I'm not in line for favors. I'm getting mine from patience. Yeah, just for all of them times they hate it, and I just hope to see them smile when I make it. Thanking God that I was created, but still I feel sorry for the ones that was doubting me, for the ones that walked out on me. I feel sorry, I never knew it would end this way, but I know it won't be the same. I feel sorry for who caused your misperception, finally realizing it was only lessons that I had to learn. I ain't stressing, only counting blessings. Still I feel sorry. My time with patience, grinding daily and praying I make it. But still I feel sorry for all the haters trying to take it, and now you might break it. No starter kid, I was born with it. Just wait till we get on tour with it. Wait till we all in the stores with it. What other rappers they forfeited? That's cool with me, to me more business. Your